Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Heather, your Saint Mama, and in today's video, I am hoping to help you determine whether or not you need to change up your Seint Beauty 3D foundation highlight color. So if you're like, okay, wait, you're speaking a little bit of gibberish, I will drop a video here of all the basics of Seint, but essentially Seint Beauty is all about consolidating your routine into one custom palette. And it's based around the concept of 3D foundation, where you kind of do paint by numbers with a contour, 1 to 2, sometimes 3 different highlight shades to give you the coverage that you want, and lip and cheeks and illuminator. And essentially that is what gives that signature glow that has absolutely taken off over the last, I would say, a year or two on social media. And so you might be Googling, trying to figure out if you need, or if you have the right color. Maybe you've tried it before, maybe it's been a few years. In today's video, I'm hoping to help you determine whether or not you need to switch things up a little bit, okay? And we're gonna share 5 different reasons why you might need a different or an additional highlight color or foundation color from Seint. So before we get into why you might need a different one, let's talk about what it looks like when you get it right. So this is what's crazy is, you guys, I've been an artist for 6.5 years. I wore the makeup for about 1.5 years prior to that. So what is that total? Like 8 years I've been wearing this makeup, okay? And I'll share more of my journey. Stay tuned for the 5th reason you might need to change if you want a good laugh, okay? It's a good one. It's worth watching to the end. Let me just tell you that. But what's crazy is I have just now found my 2 favorite home run highlight colors. So if you've been wearing Seint, or even when it was mascara back in the day, which that was our name before we changed to Seint back in 2020, then definitely this is a great video for you to watch. But I hear a lot of times from my customers, or even from sometimes other artists, they're like, gosh, my makeup doesn't look as like, you know, kind of glowy or dimensional, or it feels chalky or cakey. What's going on? Like, what am I doing differently? Like, what can I do? And a lot of times that is tied to having the right color. So when you've got the right color, highlight color, because we will talk a little bit about the contour, but the contours are relatively universal. I can wear probably 6 different contour shades. Honestly, I could probably wear them all. But the new cedar contour is the one that I'm really absolutely loving, and I think it's a really universal one if you need to try a new one of those. But specific to the highlight color, and I can get nice and close for you guys, what we are looking for is, we want, first of all, you always want your skin to look like skin. And yes, this is giving coverage. I can pop a before picture here of what my makeup looks like with no makeup, and actually you're going to see it in just a minute, because I'm going to be taking this makeup off and we're going to be playing with some different colors too. So you'll actually get to see the redness. So it gives coverage, but it looks like dewy, glowy, healthy skin, okay? And when you're applying the right color, we like to say it goes on like butter. So it smooths on, it blends out beautifully, especially if you warm it up just a little bit, either just on your face, or sometimes people will even like warm it up a little bit with a hairdryer if you live in a super cold climate. But essentially you want it to kind of go on really smooth like butter, and you don't want it to be chalky. That's the number 1 sign that you've gone too light, is if it pulls chalky or cakey. The other thing is if it pulls more yellow, that means it's a little too dark. So yellow or orange. Now, I will say this is, a lot of times when you have your magic color, and this, when I found my first magic color, which used to be amber, I fought it hard, because when I would first apply it on my skin, it would show up a little bit orange. And I was like, no, I don't wear orange makeup. I'm fair, because I've been so fair all my life. And like, I was literally the ones that all my cousins made fun of for being fair. And then I opened a boutique right out of college. And so I worked inside at least 6 days a week for like 25 years of my life. And so of course I was fair. I wasn't getting vitamin D. I wasn't outside. And now that I work from home and can work my business from anywhere, I work my business from everywhere. We travel all over the place. I'm out on the boat. We live on the river here. And so we've got a pool now at our home. I'm literally looking at it right out there. And so I do spend a lot more time outdoors. So naturally my skin has gotten a little bit deeper. But also something I've definitely noticed from being an artist and getting this makeup on hundreds of women is, as we age, so I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm 41. And I would say about the time, that I hit 40, I could see a marked difference in the texture of my skin, which meant that I also needed a darker color. So these are just a few of kind of the signs of things that the initial kind of rumblings of deciding you might need a new color. But I'm going to show you guys specifically and even like kind of take off and show you what I mean by applying the 5 different reasons why you might need an updated makeup color. So let me take off this makeup and be right back with a fresh face and we'll get into the first one. Okay, we're going to get a little up close and personal here. So here's my no makeup face. And again, I kept half my face with the 3D foundation just so you can see the difference in the coverage, how it's still natural, but it has that kind of warm, natural skin-like texture, right? So the first one I want to start with, and I'll show you, I have all of the Seint highlight colors here in one of the Double Decker Pro palettes. And we have a huge shade range that will match from the fairest of the fair to the deepest of deep. And yes, we have beautiful shades for women of color. And I love them. And our shades are ever expanding. We literally have launched 5 new ones just in the last 3 months, which is really exciting. And so this is, again, what they all look like here. And this is kind of starting with our brand new palettes, going up Moonlit Linen, all the way White Peach, Aura, Sunlit. And you can see that even though they kind of do go a little bit light to dark, there's lots of different variations in the amount of yellow or more green or more warm. And all of our highlight colors tend to have a little bit more of a yellowy undertone because that's what gives that signature kind of a lit from within light bulb glow. But you want to make sure that you are getting in the right little area here. And if you're like me, again, back in the day, I actually worked for NARS Cosmetics and I've been a makeup junkie my whole life. And I always, if I were to look at a shade range when I was in my 20s, I would always go for like the lightest few. So I would have matched myself and did match myself, more to come on that, in the lighter shades. I have learned to kind of go more in this medium range. But the number one reason why, and the most obvious reason why you might need an update to your highlight color is that the season has changed. So I'll show you an example of what I was wearing as my main highlight color back in the wintertime, and that is Candlelit. So Candlelit, again, I'll kind of show you where it is on the thing. It's kind of right, not one of the fairest ones, but it is kind of a little bit on the fairer to lighter side. So this is my winter color. I am now here doing this in July, so it's definitely not winter time. And I will show you, I'm going to use the blush bronzer brush to kind of put this on my skin. It's probably a little heavy, but I'm going to put it kind of a little bit as an all over color, just so you can see what it looks like on my redness. Normally, I would recommend doing the contour first, but this will give you an idea and kind of show you what I'm talking about with some of the cakiness when you get too light of a color. And sometimes it's hard to tell on video, but let me see if I can get it nice and close. So let me scroll back here. And so you can see, first of all, it doesn't quite work with the depth of what's going on in my body, right? Again, I don't have on a contour, but it is a little bit textury, a little bit chalky, and you can see it on my face. So this is when I could technically rock this and it wouldn't be awful, but it's not this, right? It's not that Seint look that we know and love that kind of blends in with the rest of my body. So if yours goes on and it feels a little chalky, it feels like it's not going on like butter, like it's maybe like almost like a traditional foundation, then it could be that it is too light. And in that case, you're going to need to go a little bit darker. And I will show you guys the color that I am wearing now as my main highlight color. And I'm using our little makeup remover wipes. They smell so good, you guys. They're awesome. To just quickly kind of take this off. And again, my skin might get a little bit more red. We'll talk about that in a second too. Okay, so now let me show you the difference with what I'm wearing. So I have just, because I've gotten a good bit of sun, I have just bumped to wearing our brand new Hazel. And I did a video of this that just dropped. And it was funny because I don't think I had actually tried it before I did that video. I think it's my most recent video that I did on here. And you guys, I am shook. It is so pretty and it does exactly that kind of buttery blends with effort magic. So see how pretty that is? And do you see the difference where just a little bit not only covered any of that redness, but it just went on like butter, and a little bit went a long way. It didn't feel like it was like pulling or grabbing at my skin. And so this, my friends, is my middle of summer color. Now, full disclosure, when this, let me take it off again. When I would say 2 months from now, when I'm not out in the sun all the time and I'm back doing carpool, my kids are back in school, this is going to start to feel a little bit warm and a little bit orange, because I can tell even when I very first did it, and I was shocked that I needed a color as dark as hazel. I was like, wait, what? I've never worn a color this dark before. I'm going to need to back it back down to another new color that we literally just got. And that is, oh, and I should show you where these are. Okay. So let me show you. Let's see. Okay. Candlelit was the one that was chalky, right? Then the hazel is this one here. I mean, I never would have picked one that dark for me, you guys. It's crazy. So go darker than you think. And of course, I can always color match you. I have a free custom color match in the description of this video. So you can just click that link. It takes just a couple seconds to send me a no makeup selfie in natural light, and I'll shoot over my colors. And I have a lot of people that are shocked because you're like, I don't know if I'm that dark, but no, just trust me. There's a reason. But even I was like, wait, that, but I mean, you guys just saw it. It's magic. But this other new one down here, this one is called Athens. And I almost cried the first time I put this on, because it was, I don't want to say the first time, and this is sounding a little bit dramatic, because bear in mind, again, I have loved this makeup for 8 years, right? I've been an artist for 6 of those 8, but I had not at that point, like, really had that like beautiful blendy, buttery magic that Seint or mascara was known for until this little color, which is called Athens, came out. And so it is right now, it's in between Sandy, which I haven't shown you guys, and the Candlelit that I just did. And it's a little bit more neutral toned than amber, which is what I was wearing before. And so for this one, like, it's just the perfect tone for me when I'm not this tan. And it doesn't, I wouldn't say it pulls chalky. It's just slightly chalkier than the hazel. So if, like, if I'm really looking for a color that I could get the like maximum use for the next 3 or 4 months, I could totally get away with the Athens. But you can see where the hazel is a really, really good match for me right now in the sun. So just kind of keep that in mind that, as the seasons change, as you head into winter, as you head into summer, it's likely that you need to pop a brand new 10 in your palette to give you a little bit more of an option. And that's the best part, is everything's magnetic. So you can literally just pop it right in 10 when you need to replace it. And again, if you run low on something like your lip and cheek or whatever it is, you're not replacing the entire palette. You're replacing the one color, which is something that I absolutely love. So that is the number one reason, is that the seasons have changed. Okay. The next number 2 reason, and I kind of elaborated on this, is maybe you've gotten a little bit older, or you aren't as fair as you thought you were, and you have what we consider mature skin, which I would say is anything maybe over 40, but even honestly for you 30-year-olds that are hanging on to your 20s, I know that was me when I became a Seint artist and first started using this makeup, which is why I literally thought that I was much, much lighter than I actually am. And so one of the things that you need to keep in mind when you have certainly over 40, but honestly, even in your 30s, is you need to go a little darker than you think you do on your main highlight color. And the reason is we start to get a little bit of texture. We start to get a little bit of redness. And again, we've spent more time in the sun. We probably have some age spots, some sunspots, and we've got a little bit more free time. Maybe we're not cooped up inside with little babies anymore, right? And so for all of those reasons, our skin tone tends to shift to where we need a different highlight color. So that's my number 2, is that you are over 40 and you need to usually shade a shade darker or 2 than what you think. Okay. So that's my second reason. My third reason is if you have redness, melasma, which is basically just sunspots, or you've got any kind of like what we call texture on your skin. So meaning you don't have that beautiful, flawless skin that we all had in our like teens, right? Or like if you have children and you look at their skin, It's gorgeous. I actually just did a makeover on a 13-year-old, and I'm like, oh my gosh, your skin is flawless. And so I used just a little bit of amount of a shade that was several shades lighter than her mama, even though the mom was like, we're similar in color, right? I'm like, you are, but because her skin is so flawless, we just want just a little bit to maybe just fluff up like some of those areas if and when she ever wants to do it for a dance or for church or, feel a little bit more glam. And we did a little bit of sculpting on her contour. But basically, if you have redness, if you have melasma, those dark age spots, you're going to want to incorporate what we call a camouflage color. So if you've been color matched by me or potentially even another artist, this is something that my friend Rachel, who is a sideline sister artist, a friend of mine, she kind of came up with this idea. And so the idea, let me bust out my little wipes again, and I'll show you guys again. I'll show you the redness and I'll show you the magic of a camouflage color. So this is where usually when we color match you, and this is any artist, because again, remember, I'm your Saint Mama, and you are welcome to continue shopping with your artist if you already have one. I'm just here to serve those of you guys who don't have an official Saint Mama, but I'm here to help anybody who needs it, okay? But most of the time, your artist or myself will match you with two colors, a main highlight, a brightening highlight, and that's it from the highlight collection. That's usually what we do. Now, if you buy one of the pre-book collections in the number 12 size, which is my favorite size, you are going to get 3. And you might be like, why do I have 3? What am I supposed to do with these? I know that those shades were curated and designed around having a camouflage color, a pop color, which we're going to talk about in a second, and a bridge color. And so even if you are an artist and you're confused as to why there are the 3, that's the reason, is they're designed around this camouflage way. And so what does that mean? It basically just means that sometimes you need a darker color in your palette that is specifically to cover out, any imperfections that you want. And so with that, you almost always need to go a little darker than you think. I'll even use the color Mango just so you can see what a darker color on me looks like. And I'm going to do it, let me get nice and close, guys, again. Okay. Do you see how I have the redness on my chin, the redness on my nose? If I turn my face all the way here, you can see that I've got some melasma and dark spots right here. So the idea behind the camouflage color is you're only putting that camouflage color on those areas of texture, redness, or darkness. And you're not putting it's going to look a little weird. And that's why it's also called camouflage, is because you're kind of spotting up your face, right? But anytime you've got those areas of darker parts of your face, you need to go darker in your highlight shade. But if I were to use this color Mango all over my face, it would pull too orange, too warm, too dark of a shade. But you can see, cuts that redness and covers or filters, if you will, that melasma or that dark spot really beautifully. So then you go in with the second, which is my number 4 reason that you might need to add another highlight shade, and that is to add in a pop color. And so sometimes people, and I do this all the time when I color match people, I'll go a little bit conservative with my 2 highlight shades. So I'll do something like Sandy and Candlelit. And Candlelit is not going to give you, if you're sandy, I'm not too far off from sandy, Candlelit isn't necessarily going to give me a big pop. So that's when, if you want to add in, and a lot of the pre-built collections are built with one of these really light shades over here that you definitely don't want to put all over your face, okay? So one that is super popular is this linen right here. You'll see a lot of artists using that as a pop color. So I'm using the blend brush, and what this does is it literally does a pop of a bright color on certain areas of your face, namely the eyes, down the center of the nose. But again, if I were to put this on my face, it would be really chalky. Okay. It would be way too light. Again, stay tuned if you want to see something kind of funny. Okay. So this is what's considered a pop color. And this is something that you might want to add if you want that really beautiful pop of color. So then the third in the camouflage is the bridge color, which is usually kind of in the middle of the 2. So we've got Mango, bridge. We'll do, I think June is the bridge color in the level 5 collection. So we'll do that one. Okay. So, and I'm not level 5. Oh, I could be. Again, it wouldn't be awful, but let me add in June as my bridge color. So what I'm doing here is I am just blending out and applying that bridge color as I go. So that's essentially kind of marrying the two. You can still see that I get the coverage. Oh, it's really pretty. I actually like that. Maybe I am level 5, you guys. Go darker than what you think. And of course, I don't have any of the contour on, but let me show you guys the magic of the cedar. I'm sorry if this video is going long. I promise the 5th one is like worth you guys watching. It's pretty funny. Okay. That is the cedar contour. And I went a little, but you can see the dimension that it gives is really, really, really pretty. Okay. And you can kind of blend as you go. I think I also have bronzer. But see the dimension and see the pop color, and see how even though when I first put on that mango, it really pulled like warm and kind of orange, but now all my redness is covered. It's still super fast. The melasma's gone and I get that dimensional pop. So just keep in mind, if you do one of the pre-built collections, which you can color match yourself, there's little pictures. You can say, find my shades, and you can totally color match yourself from those. And the collections are a really, really, really good value to start. It is definitely one of my favorite places if you're more of a DIY girl, is just dive into one of the collections. And again, this essentially is level 5 for me. And if I were to put, I think level 5 also has, I want to say sandstone. So we'll put a little bit of the sandstone blush on there. And I would not have thought, I usually wear level 3. And I think I have an entire video that I've done with the level 3 before. So anyways, I might be 2 shades darker in the summer, so keep that in mind. Okay, so are you guys ready? I can't with this, you guys. It's so funny. I can't believe I'm going to do this. Okay, so one of the things that I hear the most when people are thinking about being an artist is they're so scared of the twin matching. And they're like, I don't know, I'm scared that I'm going to get it wrong. I need to learn. I feel like I need to apply my makeup perfectly before I become an artist. I'm sorry, this is really funny, guys. And so I always like to share when I have an artist or someone who's nervous about that. I like to share my story because let me just say, when I first joined as an artist in 2017, I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew I loved this makeup. But guess what colors I was wearing myself? I was wearing Aura as my main highlight color. If you're an artist or know anything about our colors, that's this guy right here. Because once again, at the time, okay, the 5th and final reason, I realized I didn't say that for you, is if you tried this makeup when Seint was called mascara, Maskcara, or basically anytime before 2020, and certainly in 2017 or 2018, you guys, we literally the only colors we had Moonlit, which is this guy. We had White Peach, which was the next lightest. We had Aura. We had Sunlit. We had Amber, and we had Wheat. You guys, this is as dark as we went. And now we even have literally the deepest of the deep shades for women of color even. And so you can imagine like trying to do makeup on people with the darkest of them, again, being Wheat. It posed a lot of problems. Namely, if you're trying to look at this on a scale of like light to dark, and you're trying to color match yourself or someone else, you're like, well, she's not very dark. So she surely doesn't need Wheat, right? And also, when we started, fun fact, when we were mascara back at the very beginning, we had pre-built collections, but they were based around what we called the quad, which is one highlight color, one contour color, one lip and cheek, and an illuminator, and one brush, which was the 3D brush, which I don't even use anymore. It's just so funny. And it was like light, extra light, medium, medium tan, golden, something along those lines. Okay. And so I had no idea what I was doing. So guess what I matched like everyone. You guys have 90% of my colors. Which I wish I had the 3D brush up here. I didn't bring all my stuff, so I'll do it. But you guys are going to die when I tell you what I matched everyone at the beginning. Sunlit, which is this beautiful bright yellow color. Stone, which is this kind of orangey shade, because we only had, I think, 3: ash, olive, and stone. That was it. We had this one, and this one. Oh, and walnut. Oh my gosh, walnut. I wore walnut. I wore moonlit and walnut. So that's one of my little surprises that I want to show you guys is actually the first time I ever posted, this is wild, Seint, which again was called mascara. It was a year and a half before I became an artist. It was right when I tried it. And I was matched to Moonlit, Walnut, Pink Grapefruit, and Pearl. I'm pretty sure when you see it, that's what it'll say at the bottom. And I posted it on Snapchat. Coming from the girl who spent an entire year off of social media, it's hilarious to me that I posted this on Snapchat, but I did. And so that was the result of Moonlit, Walnut, Pink Grapefruit, and Pearl. But I am going to show you guys what I color matched everyone to at the beginning, and you're going to die. Okay, so Stone, which I never really recommend unless someone's a redhead because it is very orange on most people and just doesn't really have the depth needed. And we did pick my number, right? Like we didn't have like the camo shades. We didn't have any pop shades. We didn't have a brightening highlight that we recommended. We just literally did the Stone and then the Sunlit. So we'll do that. And you guys can see, oh, hang on. Okay. Went a little heavy handed there. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. I promise you guys something comical. But also, yeah, I'm a little heavy handed, you guys. It blends out magically. And so another thing that we would say sometimes is like, oh, redness, you need to give her Sunlit. And I hope they won't mind me sharing, but I'll actually have to show you. There's a particular portion of my camera roll where I was doing a ton of in-person makeovers, which is still, in my opinion, the best way to try out this makeup is to get the makeup on as many faces if you want to become an artist. And so that's what I did. And all of them, it's funny, I could tell they had that signature kind of yellow, golden look with like the orange stripe. And then they had Pink Grapefruit, which is still, it's actually really pretty summer color, but it's bright. It's very bright. Where are you? Grapefruit. Here we go. Here she is. And whoop. Pink Grapefruit. And I'm pretty sure it was Pearl. It might have been honey. It could have been honey for the medium. We're gonna pretend it's honey. But just in case you guys want to see, I like Moonlit too, but it's like the white shimmery one. And definitely a more dramatic look. Although, you guys, it's so funny. As you're looking at this, you're probably like, Heather, that actually does not look bad. It's actually kind of pretty. And that's the biggest thing that I want to tell you, especially if you are scared. Like maybe you're thinking about becoming an artist, but you're scared of color matching. You guys, this makeup it blends beautifully. When I wore Aura, Aura was my main color what I wore for the first year of being an artist. So all of my own before and afters were Aura and Ash. And Aura is definitely, again, not my main color. And so I still loved it. I absolutely loved the makeup. And even though I matched so many people, Sunlit, Stone, Pink Grapefruit, or, Moonlit, or all these crazy colors that I would never in a million years match as someone's main highlight color, I still to this day, I've had very, very few returns. Some of those customers did return the makeup. And actually one of them I could think of in particular, I always tell the story. She actually returned the makeup a year later, tried it again. I matched her with June, which is still not her color. But anyways, she bought it, loved it, did a party, and decided to become an artist. And now she is one of the top 20 artists in the entire company. And she first started by returning the makeup. So I always tell people, like, listen, even in a worst case, if you get it wrong, you can return the makeup. We have a generous 30-day return policy that likely your customer or yourself, you're still going to love it and you can still make it work. Because, this is actually, seriously, it's pretty. It's very, very pretty and very, very forgiving. So just keep that in mind. Don't let Seint's 3D foundation intimidate you, but know that really the only way that you can get it wrong is if you go usually too light. And so you want to err a little bit on the darker side. You want to be cognizant of the different seasons, knowing that you can totally add in a darker shade in your palette. And one thing I didn't touch on is you can mix and match. So, one of the things that I love about the level 5 is you've got Mango here and you've got June right here. These two are what comes in that level 5. And these two mixed together is a beautiful shade that would work on me like in the wintertime. So say I did color match myself to level 5 and it works beautifully now in the summer and it feels a little warm in the winter. You can just dab a little bit of each of them and blend it all out and you'll be good to go. So I hope this video was helpful. I know it was a little bit longer one, but I hope it was worth it for you guys to see my very first post and what I thought was going to be a horrific color match, but I don't hate it. So no wonder if some of you guys who bought Pink Grapefruit or bought this look on the side from me years ago and are still loving Seint, Maybe that's why it's such a great makeup line. So I am so thrilled to be your Saint Mama. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want more videos like this, and comment and let me know what you would like to learn more about. I would love to hear what questions you have, some things that can help you fall in love with this makeup as much as I have. And don't forget, you can get a free color match from me if you don't already have an artist that you're working with. And if you're interested in the artist program, you can also find that information linked in the comments below as well. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next week.